Hey everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace leaving the office and checking in with you guys. I've loaded a few videos, a lot going on, scaling business, doing some things, trying to get some things happening. So you're going to start to see a lot of content that's going to sort of be mixed. Some of the things are going to be very specific and directed at the Black community that's going to be posted on this. Some of it is going to be content that I'm posting on other platforms that I actually think will be beneficial to individuals who may be subscribed to this channel. The stuff you gravitate to, great. Stuff that you don't find relevant, just move around it and keep moving to the stuff that you want to see. Everything isn't going to be solely and dialed into quote unquote Black issues in particular, but everything is going to be about empowering my people. With that being said, I want to talk to you about something that's really weighing heavy on my heart, something serious. And I can tell you right now that I'm probably going to tick off both sides of the equation because I think there are some things that need to be said to both sides of this reality. I want to talk to you about intimate partner homicide. There's a story here that is becoming far too common, and when you see something in the media, you can imagine that for every story that's told, there are far more that aren't. And so you have to look at it and see the magnitude of it. But just in the stories that are being reported, we're starting to get these stories almost on a daily basis. In this particular story, a young lady by the name of Cavanna Smith was murdered by her significant other less than 24 hours after finding out she was pregnant and telling him. He killed her, obviously ending her life and the pregnancy because he didn't want any more kids. He was on the run. He just recently was arrested. This happened sometime last week, but he was recently picked up either yesterday or the day before. So they now have him in custody, but he was on the run. And this is, like I said, something that's happening on a regular basis. There was another story, I want to say, in Charlotte, and another one in Philadelphia. And we had a conversation with the thing that happened with Zach. Now I can't remember his name, but the ex-football player that beat the crap out of the white chick. And we talked about intimate partner violence, and there was a confusion in the discussion we were having because intimate partner homicide kept coming up, which is, in my honest opinion, connected but a different discussion, because when it comes to intimate partner homicide, it's really extremely one-sided. When it comes to intimate partner violence, it's pretty much even. Black women hit black men as pretty much often as black men hit black women. The problem is when it escalates, black women don't have the capacity to cause the harm that black men have. Black men also have the proclivity to be absolute in their destructive behavior. Where a black woman may slap you or throw something at you, a black man is trying to end you. And that comes from a lot of different things that we need to deal with in the community, but we need to talk about it, because here's what I can tell you, fathers. I'm gonna start with men. Ladies, I'm gonna end with you, because that's some things I need to say that you need to hear. Probably not gonna like it, but it's definitely something you need to hear. Black men, we've got to do a better job of being engaged in this community. Whether the kids, the black boys out there are yours or not, if we don't properly socialize these kids, if we don't properly give them right modeling, right direction, teaching, you got to look at these little boys that are out there now that seem like little hard-headed kids. You just look up, man, that joker gonna crash. But the problem is, he may crash into your daughter. That's the thing you got to understand, that these babies that are dying are somebody's daughter. That you know, they're not just crashing into the walls, they're crashing into other people. They're taking other people down with them. And that can't be acceptable, because every black boy you walk by, you can't be guaranteed that for some stupid reason your daughter won't find him attractive for some crazy reason. These kids are on some other things, and that's why we've got to be more involved, because we're allowing technical and digital devices to rear our kids. We're trusting our kids' minds in the classroom of a westernized mindset and that teach a westernized ideology that indoctrinate our kids with thinking that does not serve them. They are constantly being bombarded with ideas that don't produce the type of people that are going to live lives the way we have anticipated and dreamt of our children living. And that's boys and girls. We're going to have to do a better job. It is simply imperative and that we understand that. We can't sit by and think that a laptop, a tablet, or a phone can rear our children. We can't sit by and think that a public school system is going to give our kids what they really need to thrive in this world and drive in this world. They're going to give them a diploma that they're going to go out and find a job or go to college and get into debt and find a job that it takes them 10 to 15 years to get out of debt before they can even start thinking about it. We should be building wealth. We should be training them a mindset about building and growth, a mindset about the importance of masculinity and femininity and how it merges to create a type of energy known as synergy, where the merging of two energies come together, feminine energy and masculine energy. That's why families and households are so important, because of the balance that you create in that household with masculine energy and feminine energy. I don't want to hear about who did what, whose fault is what, because at the bottom line, it's going to be all of our responsibilities to pull this together, or we're all going down with the ship. All this pointing fingers and black men did this. Black men are tearing up some shit right now. Absolutely. Black men are being extremely destructive. And I hate saying black men because it's not all of us. In fact, it's not even most of us. But it's enough of us that it's significant. And of course, the way the system is set up, the media is going to highlight the BS that those who are wayward are perpetrating. They're not showing the strong black man in the household holding the family together. They're not showing black men taking care of their kids and loving on their wives. They're not showing that. You don't get that a lot. You don't get it in the media. You don't get it on television. You don't get it in social media. You don't get it reported in the news. Why? Because that's not the image they want portrayed of black men. There's a reason why the black male image is feminized. There's a reason why the black male image is marginalized. It's a reason why that there's such an attack on true, authentic black masculinity. It's a threat to the very power source of this country. Okay, we have to do better. Again, when we fail to get these boys in line, we leave our daughters in their hands. And I'll give you a real live example. I have a 19-year-old daughter. Beautiful young girl. Of course, I'm gonna say she's beautiful. She's my daughter. But if you've seen the pictures we share on Facebook, our kids are gorgeous. But anyway, beautiful, dark-skinned, beautiful kid. But she's 19. Now, I would venture out and say, just in the level that she's been coddled, she's been covered. Her 19 is probably, when I was growing up, our 15. Just no exposure to the hood, no exposure to street life. So game can come and get her quick. So I gotta watch her. Now she has a boyfriend that she has a boyfriend, and for the longest she thought I didn't know I knew. I was like, okay, when you gonna tell me about the guy? I'm watching you. I'm watching her time. I'm keeping up with her. So she's not going long enough where I don't know where she's at to really be concerned. But I'm saying, okay, she's talking to this guy on the phone a lot. And she's been talking to him since she got out of high school. She's in her second year in college now. So I'm sitting up and I'm thinking, okay, what is going to happen? So eventually it comes out. I'm like, I'm glad you told me. And so I started telling her all the things that she had been doing that she didn't think I didn't know. That's my job to know. I'm your dad. I'm going to know. And all the kids, the one thing they know is like, I don't know how he be knowing, but he knowing. That's my job to know. I'm not sitting around trusting shit when it comes to my kids. But let me tell you something. So I said, he's got to come over. So she brings the guy over and start talking to him. 2 minutes in the conversation, the talk I'm about to have to him, he breaks it down and tells me his dad has already had that talk with him. And trust me, I understand, sir, and I won't let you down. And I said, and I gave him the rules. When you pull up, you don't blow, you come knock at the door. You let me know who's taking my daughter so I know who to hold accountable. When she's with you, she's in your care. She's got to be protected and taken care of, just like if it was me. If it's anything less and I find out about it, me, you, and your daddy, we're going to sit down and have a talk. And I meant that. And anybody, you know, my daughter from the oldest, she married her first. The next one that got married her first. Because they knew, don't bring no bull crap around me because they're going to get checked real quick. They ain't gonna last. Don't even bring them around because they're not gonna last, because we're gonna take a ride. And it's not to play stupid, but it's the bottom line is I gotta be able to talk to a boy long enough to know what's in his head. And I'm not gonna go for no bull crap because you got my baby's hand in your life. I can't trust that you're sitting up and having some issues and that something's gonna pop in you one day and my baby's gonna be with you when it pops. I can't guarantee that my baby's gonna be okay, but I can guarantee that I'm gonna go to hell and back trying to make sure that she is. Now, we've got to do something about it. It's that simple. We can't blame women. We can sit up talk all day long, but at the end of the day, black boys are not gonna respond to black women. So if it's gonna be a change, black men are gonna have to make it, and all this pointing the finger shit is not gonna do anything. Excuse my language. This is one of those days. And there's been a few of them as of late because I'm so sick and tired of what I'm saying. Okay, now, ladies, we've got to do a better job of preparing our girls. Now, some of that falls on the father. One thing that I did with my girls growing up, there are 8 of them. The oldest is 36, the youngest is 7. Most of them are adults. There's 2 under 18 and 3 still under care because the 19-year-old is still under care. But what I can tell you is all my daughters, from the time they could talk and hold halfway conversations that you didn't understand, the conversation was, who's the most beautiful girl in the world? And their response had to be, I am, Daddy. I said, well, what can you do if you put your mind to it? I can do anything I want to. The sky's the limit. And they said it until they actually do what they were saying. By the time they actually understood the statement, it was already ingrained in their minds. They weren't going to settle for anything. They weren't just going to jump out there. They were going to be their own people. They were going to do something. My oldest owns her own business. She's working and holding down whatever she's doing and some more stuff. Her and her husband are doing good, and that's great. My other one who's married to her, she bought, before the husband, her first house in her 20s. And, you know, that isn't the definition of success because they learned with me early on, things can be easily acquired. It's, are you fulfilled? Are you really truly enjoying life? Are you serving life? Are you being good to other people? Those are the things. And they all have good hearts, thank God. I don't have a mean spirit. That 19-year-old kind of mean. But she actually is kind. She just really, she's different. She's very introverted, very gifted, but very introverted. It's kind of weird. But anyway, but most of them are like, just give you the clothes off their back without even thinking. And so I have to watch them because they're like that. But what I'm saying is there's a part of this that has to be taught and modeled by women. You know, how to make the right decision, how to sit up and choose right men. Because these men that are killing these women are men that they chose. They're choosing men for the wrong things, for the wrong reason. And it goes all the way back to this idea that they're constantly planting in their head, you need somebody that can provide for you. Well, in this last case, this guy didn't look like no damn provider. He was 25 years old and looked like a bum. But in many cases, I know that that was a woman, a professional woman that was murdered. Her and her daughter by the ex-husband. Another one, and she was high 6 figures. He was too. But you know, so you think that they're a good man because they check some things on the list. No, search their heart, understand, pay attention to the signs. Don't ignore the signs because of a bank account. Don't ignore the signs because of status and the possibilities of maybe fulfilling some things quickly that you want to do in life. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know. But see, a lot of that, if we're going to be honest, is coming because our babies don't know themselves. Our babies aren't in love with themselves. Our babies are looking for somebody to validate them, looking for somebody. What I'm saying is I don't believe in the statement, I don't need a man. I don't believe that a man should be saying, I don't need a woman. I don't think either one should be dying because they don't have it. But to understand that there's no way that you can excel at the level you can being with someone. You can't do that when you're single. You can do some extraordinary things. I've done some extraordinary things as an individual. But there are some things that when that woman stepped into my life, things went to another level, because there are some things within her spiritually that I don't possess. There are some things within her emotionally that I don't possess. That's where the balance comes in. That's where the power comes in. That's where the synergy comes in. Now, that whole idea that I don't need, but you need the right person, not just anybody. And we've got to stop putting our daughters in positions where they're choosing the wrong person for the wrong reason. That's got to stop, because they're putting themselves in harm's way. Now, them choosing the wrong guy doesn't in any way justify what the guy does, but you can't put yourself in harm's way and not think harm is coming. That's simply not a good practice. You got to have, but you got to be in a place where you are equally connected, equally yoked. And I mean that in the most intimate sense of the word, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, financially, in the way of vision and dream, where you're headed, what you see, what you want out of life, but most importantly in mental health, in the absence of toxicity, in the absence of dysfunction, in the absence of untreated trauma. We got a bunch of people trying to heal their trauma by connecting with other people, dragging all their baggage into a relationship, hoping that someone else can fix what they should be working on. It's a bunch of stuff that's bringing this highly dynamic force together, and we've got to stop. Also, ladies, when you do find yourself in a situation with guys and you know something's not right and they have a proclivity to be violent, or you feel you're not, this woman that just got killed, Cavanna Smith, may she rest in heaven, and whatever that is for her and her family. But this young woman, Cavanna Smith, she had told her sister, hey, I'm going over here to get my money from, I think his name is Quanmaine or whatever. Quanmaine boy. I'm going to get my money from Quanmaine, and if something happens to me, that's where I'm at. Well, then the next time they hear from her, they get a text message, he's got me in his trunk. The next time they hear, they found her body on the side of a road. If you know this person is not quite there, or this person has a tendency or a proclivity or propensity to go off to something that could put them in a position where you don't, if you got to tell somebody, if something happens to me, don't ever put yourself in a position to be anywhere with that person alone. And until the issue is resolved and it seems like something is, different, or that person has moved on, try not to be by yourself alone. This is a real serious problem. This isn't a made up problem. This ain't something that we can sit up and say, oh, they tripping. No, we're seeing this happen on a far too frequent basis to just sit up and say, okay, that's an every now and then coincidence. Number one, and it's one too many, because whoever the young lady is that's lost, their family is grieving them forever. So the idea that it doesn't happen often, which it does, but the idea that it doesn't all of a sudden makes it okay, no. No mother should be grieving a daughter because the person she entrusted them with took their life, period. No father should be grieving his daughter because the person he entrusted them with took their lives. And I can tell you right now, if anyone take my daughter, I'm taking them. And I'm going to gladly do whatever time I got to do in the process. You harm mine, I'm going to harm you. And it's not something that has to even be questioned. It's not something I got to contemplate. It's not anything that I got to sit up and reason or ration within myself what I'm going or not going to do. You hurt my babies, I'm hurting you. And it's going to be with the greatest intensity that I can possibly do it. I'm not here to play. So with that being said, we've got work to do. I'm actually connecting with a brother in Oakland, California, who's been reaching out to me in some kind of way. We missed each other. He reached out again after we talked about this last week. And so hopefully I'll be talking to him tomorrow, but we got a lot of work to do. I keep telling you about the need to really touch these boys, and you keep thinking it's a joke until it's your daughter they touch. We got work to do. With that being said, I'm about to get off of here. You guys have an unbelievable day. Don't forget, go to the description box and show some love. Support some of the work we're doing, some of the programs we're doing. But we definitely gonna have to come together. Hopefully after this conversation I have tomorrow, we're gonna have some more things in motion to talk about. But I'm excited. We're out here making things happen, whether you support us or not. We out here making things happen. We sitting up and we looking for a solution. I don't want to lose another generation. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to lose another generation because it's attached to my legacy. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day.